So many of you are in the the Production Council with Matt Miali, and you've heard about our 3 lead gen levers at Livian. You've heard a little bit about Canary and Empower events, and you've also heard about Care, Serve, Give. This is an implementable lead gen lever that's going to, I hope, help you to feel truly connected to your 200% life and help propel you into production at a super high level. And I want to just kind of go over broad strokes this holistic model with you today so that you can start to find the ways to integrate it in for the rest of 2023. So Care, Serve, Give, you see us all in our t-shirts, right? We've got the water bottles, everybody's wearing it, which is wonderful, right? It is a public statement of our core values that we care, we serve, and we give. And there's a gravitational pull to that as a mission statement from a consumer, from a client standpoint. But it actually then determines the priorities with which we base our activities. And so I'm inviting you all to go to the Livian merch store and order your merch and start wearing this publicly, because it starts to embed that into your head and your heart. And it also shows your clients and your community what you stand for and the character of your team that they'll be hiring. Now, what is Care, Serve, Give? It is a holistic business model that fulfills purpose. It accelerates business growth. It increases profit, and it makes a positive impact. I'm going to say something. Care, Serve, Give is not a soft ducks and bunny extra feel-good thing. This is a holistic business model that has grown our team in New Jersey from $10 million a year to $121 million in sales volume. And a lot of people think that this model is simply about generosity. It is not. The impact and the generosity that comes out of this model only comes through the holistic approach of the entirety of the model. We cannot give if we don't have anything to give from, right? And so it is the integration of this whole model that leads to that. It is not just the give piece of it. But what inspired this? I am a firm believer in coaching. I think our Livian Live Accelerated and CEO coaching that Mia and Norm and the coaching department have are absolutely exceptional. And this model was born out of a coaching conversation where my coach helped me to determine what lit me up and made me want to establish a goal, not my purpose, because as Adam says, that's our purpose is different, but a goal that would help me establish my activities. And I realized when she said, well, let's set a sales goal, that I didn't want to set a sales goal. She said, okay, well, what do you want to set? And I said, I want to set a giving goal. So we established a giving goal and we worked back from there. And from that place, at the same time, I got inducted as a cultural ambassador in 2014, and walking that stage made me realize that this could be big, it could be repeatable, it could be implementable in every real estate team across the country, and that it would be here to benefit you, your family, your team, your clients, and your community. So as a reminder, this is our culture at Livian. It is purpose plus production, which equals profit, and that then yields impact. And we live that out every single day here. But what does that look like from a planning perspective? We're going to send you this 135 after today. Your coaches have it. The Live Accelerated coaches are in the process of doing their own Care, Serve, Give 135s. And we're excited to have each of you structure out the remainder of your year in this way. So the 1 is your purpose. The 3 priorities are care, serve, and give. And then the 5 strategies are the most important people groups that you come into contact with. Because we are in real estate, we are in relationship with ourselves, with our family, our teams, our clients, and our community. And so within this 135, you're going to determine your one thing. Maybe you've read the book. your one thing as it pertains to care of self, family, team, clients, community, etc. But first, let's talk about purpose. I love these two definitions that I'm going to share with you. One is that living life to the fullest and knowing there is a reason for your journey, devotion to God's calling and those things that bring your soul joy and peace, and knowing the value of sharing your gifts with others. But how about this? Purpose is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. Now, long ago, I saw the Ikigai, and this is some incredible Japanese wisdom that helps people determine their vocation, marrying what they love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and what you're good at, as well as the intersection points of passion, mission, your profession, and vocation. That is your Ikigai, or a reason for being, the things that get you up in the morning. And I saw that after I had determined the purpose formula for the sake of Care, Serve, Give, which is determining your superpower, asking yourself what you want to inspire the world, and then determining what breaks your heart so that you'll know what that world's need is that you want to go fill. So at Livian, finding your superpower is about living the 200% life. Adam leads us in this way every single week. This is so much a part of who we are. And it's fascinating when you look at the research, the number one shared trait amongst America's greatest leaders isn't the same DISC. They're not all a high D. It's not the same KPA. It's not the same Enneagram or working genius. It's self-awareness. That they are having an inside experience, understanding themselves, and that informs their outside experience. So for your superpower, what are you great at? And what are you not so great at? What's your kryptonite? Because what's so fascinating, self-awareness is humbly knowing how you've been gifted by your creator, but also knowing what your kryptonite is. Because I've got some things that I'm not great at. So that's where it's important for me to give those things away through partnership with others, through leverage, because my kryptonite's probably their superpower. And our superpowers can come in all forms and fashions. The second question is, what do you want to inspire? What does the world need more of, that when you leave the room, people are going to talk about you in that way? For me, it's always been wanting to be to inspire generosity in our industry and in our community. But there's so many different things to inspire. And then the third question is, what breaks your heart? Or if you asked my jujitsu fighting husband, instead of what breaks your heart, he would say, what would you go fight for? What is that thing in your community, in the world? There is a need, there is a gap that you are being called to fill. It breaks your heart, and you would go fight to make it better. This is often born out of personal experience for each of us. And there's so many different things that break our heart. But those three questions help us understand our purpose. Adam's purpose is to lift up the moment, right? His superpower is to listen. He's so present. He's inspiring connection through that presence. And I know that there are things that break his heart in his community because he's given back to make sure that kids in his own community have sports equipment, right? So what's your purpose? What's the thing that wakes you up? So Care, Serve, Give. Let's talk about what this means. So care, the noun, is the provision of what is necessary for the health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of something. The verb is to feel concern or interest and attach importance to it. So think about that 1, 3, 5. And as we look at care, this really is the care. The care is the culture in our business, right? And we're flying here because we have limited time, and I'll do a deeper dive half-day session with anyone who wants it. So what does self-care look like? This is the first domino down. The rest of the strategies and the people group don't matter. If self-care is not in place, nothing else will fall into place. Before you can lead anyone else, you have to lead yourself first. Now, Gary gave us the energy model, right? That we're to focus on the spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and business aspects of the energy plan. So self-care is self-awareness, right? I, early in my journey, had to be self-aware enough to look at my reality and say, I have a drinking problem. I need to correct that. My self-care plus my spiritual growth has brought me sobriety, has brought me wellness and clarity of direction for how I want to impact the world and impact the industry. So what does self-care look like for you in 2023? And what would that one thing be that you could put in place? Like Adam has early mornings, he's at the top of a negative 75-degree mountain. I think that is part of his self-care. He's nodding. Now, how do you care for your family, right? Because we have a company that says God, then family, and then business, right? So family is so critical, being present with our people. And I was recently on a prayer group with Mo and some of her prayer warriors, and Mary Harker said, there are no do-overs with your kids. So what is the way you are going to be sure that when your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews and your partners and your spouses think of you, they think of how much you care for them? Are you showing up for them? Now, the great news, and I'm super excited to tell you all, is that we have our very first Livian community has just rolled out. If you're at Advance, you heard Adam charge me with starting communities, and we've been very thoughtful about the first community. And the first community is Livian Family, and it is led by the incomparable Shana Moats. Shana has an incredible set of tools and resources to help this inclusive community be empowered as parents, to be present, engaged, and supportive. And it will connect and support and inspire us as families in the real estate space to have a positive impact in their communities and on their kids and families. So we're going to send you out the link to be sure that you're a part of the Facebook Livian family community. That's the very first step to get started. So join us there, because it is the extension of the Care, Serve, Give model as it pertains to family. Next, how do you care about your team? This is love plus accountability. That is a culture of care in your team. And how do you do that? You run the production playbook. We wrap it in love, though, right? So when we determine how to follow our 4 agreements within our own individual teams and goals, we're then able to have those be agent-focused goals and celebrate our people when we hit them. Agents were able to honor those 4 agreements so that our ops team, it is a true synchronous team working together to just go crush it. Here's the thing, for our CEOs, for all of us in leadership and our agents, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's one of my favorite quotes. And so making our 4 agreements customized, internalized, and customized to where each of us are at in the season of life we're in, and then showing up, doing the 2, and tracking our numbers and honoring each other with that, as well as putting our friends into the database and then celebrating each other. That is a culture of care within our teams. Now, how do we show care for our clients? We don't need to reinvent this. We have the Y4C2Ts. We put people first and our success will follow, and everything can filter through this. If we look back at this on the daily basis, we know that we will be taking great care of our clients. Now, how do you show care in your community? We maintain meaningful relationships with our sphere, our database, our past clients, and the people in our world. There's a recent Harvard report that Denise on our team actually shared. She said, no wonder I have the best life ever. This report said that meaningful relationships are the most important thing to having a fulfilling life. So how great is that we get to maintain meaningful relationships? It fulfills our lives. Oh, and by the way, those relationships grow your business because those people know you, believe in you, are loyal to you, and will refer you and recommend you. So service is the actual, it is service, both externally and internally. So how do you serve? Well, you need to grow, because your business is going to grow to the extent that you do. Putting yourself in the cadence of our daily CEO and all partner liftoff calls will start you off serving yourself and start your day correct from the get every single morning. Plugging into the Livian podcast, being a part of the book club, plugging into trainings with the Livian boot camps, attending Livian Advanced. These are all ways for you to grow through the year, which is how you serve yourself. Then for your family, step back and think again in terms of your faith. You've been wired up with those gifts and talents. Can you go use those to serve in your house of worship? What's so cool within Livian and within Keller Williams is how radically inclusive we are. We honor every single world faith in here. This is just about how you prioritize your faith and your family and then your business. So bringing your gifting and your talents to your house of worship, it's very possible that your congregation is in great need of you and your family service. I'm telling you, when you bring your kids into this, it's extraordinary, right? I've got a 13-year-old who's obsessed with babies and toddlers, obsessed. Every single Sunday, she doesn't like to go to church, and she's on her own spiritual journey, but she's going to serve at our congregation and take care of babies and toddlers in the toddler room every Sunday morning. And she's tapping into her gifting in such a beautiful way. And there's nothing better than a car ride to church with your kids. Now, how do you serve your team? This is servant leadership. We are to grow future leaders, and we are to empower others. I believe that right now we're to be focused on growing our captains on our teams, growing our production council, and empowering others, right? There's a Care, Serve, Give committee through the Productivity Council, and that committee will be out teaching this model, right? We are growing captains and leaders within the company. And that's how we best serve each other. Now, in terms of serving our clients, this is the actual real estate part. So this is where we go out and give extraordinary service to our clients. And I'm really excited to let you know that I've developed a service playbook. One of the joys of being in real estate for 18 years now is I've seen a lot of markets, and I know exactly how to serve clients whose homes are on the market for months and months at a time. And so I've developed a service playbook that I've presented to Lauren, and she's going over right now. And so we're in the collaboration phase with our ops team right now to roll out a really powerful service playbook so that we all are equipped to know exactly how to systematically get in front of all the stressors that our clients might feel, provide the absolute best service in the real estate industry, from our pre-list packages to the seller guides, to our time-blocked communications, to the home buyer guides our marketing team makes us, our weekly marketing reports that we send every single week to our sellers, and then obviously Livian design and stage for every seller, and everything that we can do to provide great service. If y'all were on Market Monday, you'll remember yesterday I told you I'd update you on the listing that we had that came out that I shared with you yesterday. We presented 6 offers today. That house listed at $799. And I'm excited to tell you, but don't tell anybody else in our market, we accepted an offer of $950 today. From $799 to $950. That is what this strategic service playbook, the results that it brings. So next, how do we serve in our community? So we show up and serve as a team. I love, months ago, Adam said, Red Day is great. How about Yellow Day? And so we're very excited to be having conversations about what Yellow Day is going to look like nationwide for us at Livian. And in the meantime, I'm going to encourage you to make space for your teams to serve. It's such a wonderful way to come together as teams and to make a difference in your local community. So there we are through serve. Now let's talk about give. So this is how we give back. It's about generosity, the impact we get to make, casting the vision within our communities and setting the example. Now, there's some research that went into this to be sure that this model wasn't just feel good, but also would be a powerful business model to grow a big business. Years ago, when Mo was endorsing this model, we asked the KW Research Department to do a study for us, and they came back and told us that a strong culture or record of charitable giving strongly contributes to a company's success. Charitable giving tied to company operations also impacts the success, and that businesses that build giving directly into their operations actually resonate more with consumers, especially millennial clients. So what's interesting about this data is you think about Keller Williams having Red Day hardwired in, having KW Cares hardwired in. There's no coincidence that we are the largest real estate company in the world, and there is a lot that goes into that. But this is an aspect that our culture and the generosity and charitable giving within KW has led to that. And I'm super excited that that's the heartbeat at Livian as well. Other important data is that it's important to know that children who grow up around generous role models that not only show generosity, but talk about generosity, grow up to be more generous adults, but they actually feel more confident. They have higher self-esteem, and they're less likely to suffer from depression. Now, for me, I have 3 children, and we all in our family have a track record of anxiety and depression. And when I think about how this model has impacted our family in terms of our ability to talk about generosity, feel connected to our community, and go out and make a difference, I can't help but believe it has lightened the depression load for them. I would hate to think what it would look like without this, because the conversations that get to happen at the dinner table about work are also about giving back. So where can you give personally? I'm so grateful that Adam and Haley have filed the full application for Livian Cares. The 501c3 has been, application's been filed. We're waiting on the government and just all the legal things that have to happen to form your own charity. So that is coming. The website's coming along. It's going to be amazing. And we're excited to get that rolled out for you this year. In the meantime, let's make a commitment to continue to give to KW Cares, because it is the role model for which we have modeled Livian Cares. For anyone who's new and doesn't know, KW Cares is a 501c3. It's basically our internal Red Cross. It takes care of our people in times of emergency, and that is what Livian Cares will be doing. And we're hoping that everyone will make a commitment to Livian Cares. So in terms of your family, again, we go back to the faith component. Whatever your world faith is, we ask that you consider tithing to your house of worship or to your favorite charity of choice locally within your community. All right, so what's the give model? This is the give model, and this is what pertains to our real estate teams. And this is for agents, it's for ops, it's for CEOs, it's for leadership, it's for everyone. The first part, and y'all know I love a triangle, because leads, listings, Livian, I mean, that's the MREA model. And so of course I'm using a triangle here as well. First up is our community events marketing. How do you give through your team? It's through the Livian Events Playbook. Now, hear me for a second, and Becca's going to love this. I am not asking anyone to spend a penny more than they're already spending. I'm actually asking you to run the Livian Events Playbook because Matt Miali and his incredible group built it out so that it actually doesn't cost any money. The way the events playbook rolls out is that through the playbook and sponsorships, we're able to have incredible events that give back and build our business. See, here's the thing. When we run the events playbook, every event is a party with a purpose, and every event allows us and helps each of us to do the two. And when we strategically lay out the events playbook over the entirety of the year, and we're all pushing towards all the activities that go into each of these events, we're able to be in touch with our past clients, our sphere, and ask the question at the end of those invitations, who do you know that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, and maintain these meaningful relationships. So the events playbook, it's so brilliant because it's all mapped out by quarter, right? So if you haven't already, sit down and review as a team all of the options within the playbook. And pretty quickly, you're going to see that leaders emerge from within your team for each of these events. We recently did this and we were talking about bowling night, and Justin on our team lit up. He was like, I want to lead it. I love bowling, right? So he's bringing his passion for bowling to bowling night. And we're doing the playbook, which is Strike Out Hunger, and we'll be collecting food and raising money for our local food pantry. So this is the Care, Serve, Give model. Running the events playbook is the is the model. Next up is closing for a cause. So this is how you give back on behalf of your clients. Now, agents, how many times have you shown up to the walkthrough or closing with a bottle of wine in hand, or maybe a Cutco knife or a cutting board, or maybe you stopped and you picked up a bouquet of flowers to give to your clients? Closing for a cause is an option for you to consider, that instead of those closing gifts that you're bringing to that final walkthrough, that you're asking your clients, what is the charity that is most meaningful to your family? What breaks your heart? When we get to ask our clients that question and get them thinking, and then ask them to go home and have a conversation at the dinner table with their family, with their children, with their nieces and nephews or grandchildren about what breaks their heart and where they would like their realtor to make a small donation as a closing gift, we get to plant the seed of generosity in that next generation by sparking up that conversation. So closingforacause.org is a site that exists now, and we will be building out over the course of this year, specifically for Livian. And in the meantime, it is a great launch pad for you to use, and you're all welcome to link straight to it, and agents to have that conversation with your clients, because they'll go to this website and they'll get to pick the charity that breaks their heart and let you know about it. And the reason why this is important for your business is notes like this. This family that we served, their child almost died. And the fact that they were able to designate the Cincinnati Children's Hospital as where we were making our donation gave them a sense of connection to us as a team, and this was their last impression of us. Just to read it, we wish more people would be as generous and considerate as yourself and your team. Thank you for your kindness and consideration. We crushed it with their real estate needs, and then this is their final thoughts about us from a generosity standpoint, connected back to the hospital that saved their daughter's life. They feel seen and they feel acknowledged, and that creates loyalty and deepens any relationship. So the last piece of the give model is that we're wanting every single team in Livian to launch their own impact initiative. And it's going to be a full team impact initiative. And then agents, I want you individually to be tapping into what breaks your heart and where you want to go make a difference. So what this means is that you will go back to that question, what breaks your heart? and you'll establish basically your own charity without maybe even necessarily starting your own 501c3, but your own fundraising annual initiative that your followers, your clients will be able to get on board with. See, people want to give back and sometimes they just don't know how, and they need to be led. So for you to launch your initiative, you're going to be able to fill that gap that breaks your heart, and know every day when you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to go negotiate another roof repair today. But you know what? I'm going to do it because I know in doing it, I get to make a difference in the exact way that I feel called to make a difference. Now, Gary told us years ago at a mastermind that your initiative should have your name in it, because then it aligns your brand to your generosity. Again, it's revealing the core values of your business from a marketing standpoint publicly, and hardwiring your community to think of you in terms of your values. So we named ours the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative, and it really should be now the Vanessa and Charlie Pollock Music Initiative, because he's the one that does everything. We throw these incredible concerts and we raise money, because going back to the purpose statement, I wanted to use my superpower of leadership to inspire generosity, to fill the need for music education in our school district for children who couldn't afford band and orchestra instrument rentals. So for 8 years, we have annual fundraisers and we raise money for the music initiative. And wouldn't you know, all of our past clients are there. We get to invite everyone in our sphere, everyone in our community. We're putting out press releases, and everyone knows that this is the legacy we are leaving in our community. So what would this mean for Livvian if we all operate by the Care, Serve, Give 135? Well, first, let's look at Livvian Cares. Agents, if you'd be willing to donate in the year 2023, $23 for each of your closings, and CEOs, if you'd be willing to match that, we'd be looking at, because we're going to serve at least 5,000 families this year. I mean, maybe double, who knows? But if it's 5,000, we're going to be able to donate $230,000. Now, what does it mean for closing for a cause? Agents, if you would be willing, instead of picking up that bouquet of flowers or that bottle of wine, if you would just make this donation to your client's charity of choice, let's just say $25, we'd give back $125,000 as a Livvian family. And if each of us were to raise, we're not spending any extra money, right? We're throwing our events with sponsors and we're raising money within our community for our impact initiatives. If we were able to raise $1,000 each, we'd raise another $750,000. Now, I told you about our team's initiative, but I need to tell you about a special story on our team. Each of our agents feels called to make a difference in their own way. And Denise Payne on our team years ago said, you know, the thing that breaks my heart is children who don't have gifts at the holidays. So for years, Denise has been having a brunch in her home where she invites, this year it was 300 of her past clients to her home for a brunch, and it's a toy drive. And all of her people cannot wait to be at her annual event. Now, what does that mean for Denise's business? Well, first of all, she's connected to it. She's doing an incredible service to her clients. Her impact last year, they were not only able to collect hundreds of toys, but Denise sold $36 million in real estate on our team last year by implementing this model and focusing on bringing her people together and tapping into the need that she wanted to fill. She's just incredible, and I hope you all get to spend time with her soon. So if we do this, if we do Livvian Cares, closing for a cause, and raising money for our impact initiatives, we're going to give $1 million next year as a Livvian family. Gary years ago threw down that gauntlet and said, you want to gross $1 million, net $1 million, give $1 million, right? The ultimate goal is give $1 million. And what's so beautiful about all of us being together and being a Livvian family is that we get to do that. So the next steps I just want you to take is I want you to complete your 135 for 2023 for Care Serve Give. I want you to start using this logo everywhere you feel comfortable with using it, and using the hashtag Love How You Live, Care Serve Give. I want you to launch your impact initiatives, start that conversation, and tap into me for helping to determine it. I am here to mentor, to help, and to be sure that we get each of these impact initiatives off the ground. I want you to link to Closing for a Cause from each of your websites, because planting the seed of generosity visibly on your website, as we know, within the research, the millennials are going to gravitate to that. And then I want you to run the events playbook with every single event giving back. So here, I'm just going to show you my 135 as a sample, right? So what's my one thing for self-care? My sobriety and studying. How do I show my family care? We sit down at the dinner table and we have family time, and we are plugged into each other with no phones every single dinner. As a team, I'm going to celebrate our team's accomplishments. For our clients, we're really learning to listen better right now in our consultations to be sure we're providing excellent care and service. And we're going to start, from my community, having more fun. We're out in the world because COVID is somewhat behind us, and we're able to connect with our people. In terms of serve, have an annual growth plan. I serve at my church. How I serve our team is to pour into our captains, run the captain model. For our clients, follow the service playbook. And for our community, it's going to be Yellow Day and how we're serving at local charities. And then the give model, it's Livian Cares, it's tithing, it's running the events playbook with each of them being a party with a purpose. It's giving back through Closing for a Cause at each closing, and then our impact initiative of the music initiative. So we'll be distributing the 135 so that you can all spend some time mapping out 2023 and determining what the one thing for each of these can look like for you. And last slide, let's do it. We get to make this impact together.